Good day. In industries traditionally led up by men, making an impact requires more than competence. It takes confidence, resilience, and the courage to challenge the status quo. Grab your cup of coffee and join us on Freshly Brewed, where meaningful conversations unfold between inspiring leaders and Business Mirror's journalist hosts. In this Women's Month special, we sit down with Patricia Jacinto, Growth and Marketing Director of foodpanda Philippines. From navigating male-dominated spaces in logistics and tech to championing inclusive leadership and shared responsibility, Patricia shares how she built credibility, empowered her teams, and opened doors for more women to lead. Joining her in this conversation is Bless Aubrey Ogerio, Business Mirror's trade and industry reporter.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to Freshly Brewed. I am Bless Aubrey, trade reporter for BusinessMirror, and your host for today. From tech and e-commerce to logistics and operations, these are sectors traditionally led by men, yet increasingly transformed by women at the forefront. As we mark Women's Month this March, we're spotlighting leaders who are shaping industries that power the country's digital economy. Joining us today is the one who heads the growth and marketing for one of the country's largest on-demand delivery platforms and plays a key role in scaling tech-driven operations nationwide. Please welcome Patricia Jacinto, Growth and Marketing Director of foodpanda Philippines. Good day, Miss Patricia, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Bless, and the Business Mirror team. So happy to be here.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. So now you're here, and I'm just genuinely curious about your journey in the industry. You entered tech, e-commerce, and operational strategy at a time when leadership in these spaces was still more largely, let's say, male-dominated, especially before, And can you share what it was like stepping into that environment early in your career?
Sure, and maybe I could go back to to where it all began, and that's really in my household, no. I grew up in a family where I was around so many women. We're four girls. Then my mom, so five girls, and then one brother, and then my dad. So really already very early on, very female dominated.
One of the girls.
Very female dominated kami. I also was really lucky to have parents that always made me believe anything was possible. Hence, I pursued my engineering degree, entered UP, and coming from an all-girls high school, entering UP College of Engineering, dun talaga medyo culture shock, like, there's a lot of men, where are all the women here? And I think that time, around 15 years ago, we were probably 70% male. And as such, when I graduated and I entered supply chain, with my core focus in logistics, it even became more apparent there that this is a really male-dominated field.
Just curious, why marketing?
Why marketing? So, that's a good question. I spent probably 10 years in logistics, and then there was an opportunity for me to go into marketing, which is very separate. It's very different. Logistics is a precise industry, relying very much on numbers, quantitative data, processes. And my field of logistics is like nasa warehouse kami. I'm always around trucks and pickers, etc. Then the shift into marketing, I also felt like I had learned a lot in logistics, and I wanted to make a change for myself. And I guess also rooted with what I learned from my parents, or what my parents taught me. Anything's possible. I was also very lucky to have mentors who empowered me. So I made the switch to marketing, which is then more a creative, artistic, and yet still very data-driven field. And I think that's what's underestimated about marketing, how much data we really use, especially in the tech space.
That's a good vision for yourself, and indeed being a woman in male-dominated fields. But what about the challenges that you face? How did you manage to overcome those kind of stuff?
Okay, I think one is I was super lucky when I entered the workforce that my mentor and my boss was a woman. So then on, I already saw, even in a C and an industry male dominated, nakaya naman. And I'm very, very grateful to her because I could see in my career, there could be women sitting in management, holding power amongst so many men around the table. So that's one way I overcame a challenge. I had inspiration and, kumbaga, standing on the shoulders of giants, people who had done it before me. I was able to see that with my very first mentor and boss. Second is I have been surrounded by, even for both my male and my female bosses, they have been very, very supportive of my success and my career. And that's something that I am proud to say that I've had. I know not everyone has had, is as lucky also to have really great people pushing you to the top, literally. They're the ones like, giving me the opportunity to succeed. And of course, believing in myself.
Of course.
How do you overcome challenges? Just believe and know you can do it. Anything that you set your mind to.
Yes, so in a nutshell, it's a good mix of having a good supportive system and those kind of opportunities that came from you na hindi kayo natakot mag-dive into those kind of stuff.
Exactly.
No? By the way, on the topic of motherhood, how has becoming a mother changed the way that you approach your work and you handle things in your job?
As cliche as it may sound, I really, really focus on work-life balance now. If you ask, the version of me before kids, ako parang I can work all day, all night, and I still do, but it's just the work is different now. Diba? There's the professional side, and then there's motherhood, and however it blends in between. We are actually lucky that here in the Philippines, I feel mothers are really highly regarded. We are given a lot of flexibility, especially in companies like foodpanda and many in the digital space, actually, and the tech space. They give us a lot of flexibility when it comes to working from home, being in the office, allowing us to spend a lot of time with our kids. Some companies, as like ours in foodpanda, they even give extended maternity leaves. That's an additional benefit for all our mothers, just showing how much we're supported. So it's been a challenge. Now that especially I have 2 kids, it's been a challenge, but I'm navigating through it. Again, I have great mentors to help me. So that's also been very, very useful in
That's
my career.
good to hear po. And very lucky din that you're in a company na pwede maging flexible about your situation. Before, you've spoken about giving your team the driver's seat, letting them take ownership and even learn from failure. What's with that approach and why is it important for you, Miss Pat?
I think I believe that people will succeed if you give them the chance. You cannot micromanage them. And personally, in my experience, I have been micromanaged, and I don't respond well to it. So I really try not to do that to others. I also believe that even if, you give them the driver's seat, let them take the wheel. If they fail, then it's another opportunity for them to learn. So we should not be afraid to let them try, let them take risks. Because, at the end of the day, a lot of people that you believe in, they could surprise you and they could do great things. And they'll only do it if you really let them take the wheel.
Yes.
So that's my firm belief. And I always, especially with my team, that's really what I advocate.
It's a good thing on how you see failure as an opportunity or a redirection para mag-improve yung kanilang ways. But in fast-moving industries like, let's say, tech and logistics, pressure is constant po kasi. I can see that as someone covering those kind of sector as a trade reporter. But even with those factors, paano po kayo nakakapag-create ng environment where people feel secure, valued, and empowered to share ideas and be open about what's on their minds?
I think maybe related to the previous question, I really empower my people. I foster an environment where I want to be approachable. It's a safe environment. We speak candidly. And this is a reflection also of our culture in the business, in foodpanda, that we have a very flat organization. Person in any level can speak to our leadership team or senior manager or senior director. That's the culture that we want to build. A safe space for everyone to be able to express their ideas, express their, opinions, because also that's really what we value.
Since we're on the topic of leadership, kadalasan po kasi nire-require ang isang leader ng pagiging decisive, na dapat firm ka pagdating sa mga desisyon mo. But you also need to be open to feedback sa mga pagbabago and to adapt on those kind of stuff. So I would like to learn naman po sa inyo kung ano po yung style nyo on balancing assertiveness with openness. Paano nyo po ba ginagawa yun? Can you share it with us?
Okay, so there's really a delicate balance, no? There are some situations that will call for you to be assertive. And the ones that I can think of that stand out in my career is the pandemic. Yun talaga, like overnight, logistics stopped, and we had to work quickly. And that was very, I would say, in my leadership career, in my leadership journey, that was my assertive period. Yung we have to get this done, ta 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 ta, because there's so many rules and regulations that we need to comply with, and we need to get our business up and running fast. Then there's the what was the second one? Assertiveness and openness. Then there's like, the opposite, which is when the situation is less stressful, you can also adjust your leadership style and be a bit more open. So for example, we can have creative sessions with the team that are like, okay guys, how do you want to celebrate Valentine's Day for our consumers in the app? And we create this environment of openness where everyone, not just marketing, but everyone can really contribute to the success of a campaign.
So it's a team effort. May pag-brainstorm.
Absolutely, yes.
Now, from a business standpoint naman po, magda-dive lang ako sa mas business angle natin. How do inclusive hiring and stronger representation translate to performance and innovation?
Okay. So my other belief is, I would love to see in leadership, when I enter a room, in the boardroom, there's an equal number of men and women all the time. That can only happen if you have as many women and men in the pipeline, coming up the ladder. And that also translates to being able to bring an equal number of men and women into the company. So ever since I started working and I became a hiring manager, my philosophy has always been I need to be able to interview for one role, at least one woman and one man. So that way it's fair. And that's also one of the, when I got promoted or when I was also put into management, I know that was one of the criteria, how many women and men are in the room. And we need to really be deliberate about making it fair. So when it comes to hiring, especially when I was in operations and logistics and more so in any tech field, it's really important that we give equal opportunity. Kasi yun nga, in college pa lang, we're all women in technical fields are already under indexed in engineering, in software development, etc. So the pipeline coming out of college of women is smaller. You really have to I will prolong the interview process as long as I can get a woman candidate in there next to a male.
On one hand naman po, about technology, with the emergence of AI and more pag-advance ng mga digital stuff natin, it continues to reshape commerce and logistics po eh. So how do you see leadership evolving in the years ahead, particularly in terms of diversity and inclusivity?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And there are probably many ways that you can look at it. On one side, AI and, it could make gender or diversity not even a thing because it does everything. It's a tool, and it's there. Has no gender, essentially. But on the other hand, the way we use it and the way I believe it should be used is when you use it to enhance your day-to-day life, it just makes you a better leader, who you are, and the professional that you are. So in that sense, when you couple it with your AI coupled with for example, for me, my current leadership style, I only see it enhancing my abilities as a female leader in the industry.
Okay. But let's address the elephant in the room, the geopolitical tensions. With the recent conflict, let's say in the Middle East, How is foodpanda navigating this situation, particularly in terms of, potential impacts on your business and on your riders? Like, what interventions are you implementing within your company?
It's a critical situation, we know, and it's developing. In fact, the management team, we have been meeting since the war broke out last week on what we could do. We're closely monitoring the impact on our stakeholders, the riders, the restaurants, and of course our customers. And mainly for this week, we've been focusing on the riders, especially with the fuel price hikes. We are discussing how we will be able to support them during this crisis, and we will be releasing more updates as that develops.
That's a good development from foodpanda, no, ma'am. But this March, we've been celebrating Women's Month. Any message you would like to share with young women who aspire to make an impact in industries like this, that they are still underrepresented or nagkukulang pa sila pero gusto po nilang pasukin?
Number one, and I think this was one that was very helpful for me in my career, find a sponsor that advocates women. It can be a woman, it can also be a man, but find someone who you know will support you in your career growth and guide you, and someone who aligns with your principles. I think having that having that will already give you the confidence to go such a long way. Second is know that you can do it. I have been in too many rooms where we are too few in the management, in the management table, in the boardroom, and I come in scared, but I sit down and I just tell myself, we can do this. Look around, I'm the only woman. We can do this. And third, and this is me, my team can attest to it, just be happy. Like, sometimes the situations will be unpredictable. I try to stay as positive as I can, no matter what. This is energy that I know I give to the people who were around me, and someday from now, they might look back and be like, Pat, you gave me that optimism and positivity I needed when I needed it. So that's it for me.
Great advice, ma'am. But beyond that, what are your other suggestions to other organizations, especially startups, to actively help ensure gender equality and inclusion sa workplace?
I think I already see a lot of people acknowledging diversity, especially for minorities in the tech space, like women. There are definitely some departments that probably already have a healthy mix between male and female representation. Marketing usually has a healthy mix, but for those who are leaders in logistics, operations, please make sure you have please make sure that the hiring between men and women is fair, that you always give enough chance to candidates from both genders or from... Second is choose to mentor women whenever the chance whenever the chance arises. Advocate women, especially this Women's Month.
Indeed. And for the companies out there, please heed to the call of Miss Pat. Ayun po. Thank you so much, Miss Pat, for sharing your insights and experiences with us today. Your story on leadership in tech and operations is very inspiring. And really, it helped me understand why inclusive, forward-looking leadership matters now more than ever.
Thank you very much for having me, Bless, and for the BusinessMirror team. I really enjoyed, and I hope, this Women's Month, we all remember, to recognize the women in our lives.
Yes, it's a pleasure for us to have you here. And to our viewers, thank you for tuning in to Freshly Brewed. Don't forget to catch our next episode, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on social media. I'm Bless Ogerio. See you next time.
And that wraps up today's episode of Freshly Brewed. Thank you for joining us as we explored Patricia Jacinto's journey in making an impact in a traditionally male-dominated industry. Her story reminds us that leadership is not just about breaking barriers, but about building spaces where more voices can thrive. For more stories and insights, visit businessmirror.com.ph and follow us on our social media platforms. Stay ahead, No more, and see you next time.